All right. So, yay, we're going to learn how to get leads. So I wrote down, I have some challenges for you throughout this class. I have results tips and I have all of the things. So the first thing I want to start with is why get leads? There's a lot of different reasons why people want to get leads. Maybe it's, you just want to you've been recruiting a lot or team building and you've given those people to their family and you need to get more business, right? Maybe you've just been in friends and family for too long and you're just kind of over it. Likewise, maybe they're not friends and family, but you've been in a specific market of people and they're not where you want to be. Maybe you just need to freshen up your customer base. Maybe you're going for big goals, like trying to earn a car, become a sales director. Whatever the reason is, it's pretty likely that at some point in your Mary Kay business, you're going to have to freshen up and get those leads, right? It's a necessary part of our business. It doesn't mean it has to be the favorite part of your business. I always give people the analogy that pick the thing you love to do most in the world. Okay, picture that thing in your head, whatever it is. What do you love to do most in the world, right? I love to travel. I love going on trips. I just love traveling. However, I hate with a passion beyond belief, I hate unpacking. I don't really like packing either. Packing is a close second, but I hate unpacking. In fact, I am notorious for going on a trip and then like a month later, my suitcase is still open on my bedroom floor with all the stuff in it, and it takes forever. I've gotten better. I now have a new rule where I can't go on another trip until I've unpacked from the trip before. So sometimes timing forces me to do that. Now, my hatred for unpacking does not prevent me from doing the thing that I love, which is traveling. Okay. So I'm giving you this analogy because you don't have to say, gee, getting leads today sounds like the most exciting part of my day. It's not. Okay. I personally don't like in fact, it's my least favorite part of my business, all in all, but I love what it leads to. Right. So I can suck it up for a little while. And honestly, it's not even the actual act of getting leads that's bad. It's just the anticipation sitting in your house of thinking of doing it. That's the worst. Once you're actually out doing it, you're like, oh, this isn't even that bad. Like, why was I being such a baby about everything, right? Have any of you done this? Okay, I know some of you have because, you're or psych yourself out about doing a restaurant promotion or something like that. So just because, so think of the thing you love the most, and maybe there's a piece of it. Maybe you love to, be at the gym, but getting there is half the battle, whatever your thing is. But it is a necessary part of our business. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Okay, so I'm going to give you my results tip number 1. Okay, so I want to share that I don't really like fishing. I like catching, but I don't like fishing. And my husband always says, well, if you caught one every time, then it'd be called catching and not fishing. Okay, well, I like catching. I don't like fishing. I like fishing when I'm catching them every time I throw my thing in, but I don't like sitting in the boat waiting to hopefully catch something. So when I do things, you guys, and I've done all of these ideas I'm about to teach you bazillions of times over 18 years, I promise you that the way that I'm going to teach you to do it gets results. So if you decide to do it your own way and you're not getting the results, just know that I'm teaching you from results because I want you to be good at catching and not fishing. Okay, so results tip number 1 is I want to talk about volume. Okay, so volume makes an unpredictable business predictable. So if you're a new consultant, I know there's some new consultants on here, you're going to start your business with people so you can kind of get that practice. I'm going to talk about referrals and bookings from bookings because that's the easiest way to work it. But these are just some good things to kind of catalog in your brain so that you can, be successful moving forward. But you need to have volume. So one of the pitfalls that I find is people say, okay, I need to get leads. They pick an idea. They do it one time and they say, well, that's not for me. And I didn't get the results I wanted from it. But you have to do things imagine the first time you rode a bike, right? Imagine it didn't go how you wanted. And you're like, well, forget that. I'm just going to go the rest of my life without riding a bike because I couldn't do it that one time. We don't do that, right? But we do that in our Mary Kay business. So give yourself time for something to work. Do things more than once because the more you do things, the more your results you're catching is going to increase because you're just better at it, which means you're more confident in it, which means you're attracting people differently and stuff actually gets easy. But you do need to have volume. So if you are a seasoned consultant who is looking to really make a change, I would say getting 50 to 100 like new leads in a week's time, which is actually not hard to do, can completely change the direction of your business. Okay. So, but it's got to be volume, right? If you just get like 3 new leads and you're like, nobody booked with me. Okay. You need more than 3. Okay. So result tip number 1 is volume. The second thing you're going to need is you're going to need some supplies. And don't worry, I think the supplies part is actually pretty simple. Okay. So the first thing you're going to need to do a lot of the ideas I'm going to show you is a gift bag. Okay, how many of you have an actual drawer at your house filled with gift bags? Like somebody gave you a birthday present. Yeah, April. And and you saved the bag because they're expensive, right? Like they're like $3 to $5 for a dang gift bag. So you save the gift bag. Well, guess what? We can repurpose. You want to find a sturdy one? I decided, so I don't know if you know this, but on section 2 right now, because it's the 60th anniversary, it's still in mine. Mary Kay actually has these really nice, you don't have to get a Mary Kay one, you guys. I like literally until last week used just a reused gift bag that I had in my thing, but this, okay? So the gift bags. The other thing you're gonna need or want to have is some of these wooden roses. So Jan, I saw your question, okay? So the reason I like to use these is because they can sit in your car. They're wood, right? So they're, they don't die. People can spray them with their favorite fragrance or whatever. And I do have the link on our website of where to buy these. It's a specific website. The only caveat is you have to buy a box of 800. So if you live local to me, you can get some from me or some of our consultants, but I will just buy a box and like keep them in my house. I use these for everything: bridal fairs, restaurant events, anytime I go out and get leads. They're just cute to have. You could even stick them in reorders. They end up being about, oh my gosh, it's less than 9 cents a piece. Like they're not expensive, which is kind of cool. And people love these. Okay. So you can use real flowers though too. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do stuff, just go to like Sam's Club or Costco and find whatever flowers are cheap. Don't get roses. Get like, I mean, they've got like cute little summery flowers that are like $9 for a pack of like 20 or 25 or whatever. You don't have to get the super expensive things to make this stuff work. So you're going to need that. And then you're going to need drawing slips. Okay. For most things, you need to have a drawing slip. All of this stuff, I want to show you this, is on our website, our team website. Okay. So this is our team website. So if you click on consultant education and then go down to education center, and then you click on networking and lead generating. Okay. So for example, here's the generic drawing slips that I pretty much use for everything. So these are the slips I'm currently holding in my hand. They're on the website. If you want, let's see where the roses are. Yeah, wood roses link right here under restaurant events. So if you want to know where I buy the wood roses, here you go. That's the website. It's kind of a weird looking website, but just know that it's a real thing. So all of this stuff is currently on our team website, emilyschutte.com. Okay. So, and then I like to, in the bottom of the bag, I have some business cards. I also keep just a couple of current catalogs. And then you need pens, right? And you're going to lose pens, so don't put like 2 pens in there. Put a bunch of pens in there. If you guys could stay muted, that would be super great. There we go. Okay, so this is the supplies. And I keep this in my car at all. Like a good idea would be to keep this in your car at all times. I also like to, hang a couple pens on the outside. Okay, so we'll get to more of what we're going to do with that, but that's just kind of some of the supplies. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is have an awareness of what is going on in your area. Okay, now this class that I'm going to teach you tonight is really all these ideas we do all year, but this is with a summer focus because we just got done with Memorial Day weekend. So this has a summer focus, but honestly, like it's good for all year, but we have a summer focus right now. So I want you to start thinking, and sometimes you just have to turn your brain. You got to flip the switch on your brain to this exact thing. Okay, so what is going on in your area right now? festivals, events, parades. You'll see sometimes like on Facebook, like mine is called New Prague Happenings, like your town's gossip site, I like to call it, but it's supposed to be happenings. I don't know. They usually have, oh my gosh, looking for vendors for this ladies' night out, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It could be even like the Mothers of Multiples organization. They do this big clothing sale, right? You might call them and be like, hey, do you guys let outside vendors come in and have like a little booth or anything? And they do, right? So even if you just hear of some big thing where, you know, a lot of women are going to be, I've done race signups, like people doing 5Ks marathons. A lot of times they'll have like a little mini expo before the actual marathon. And I've had a booth and that was amazing. Okay, so being open to it. Restaurants, let's say you go out to eat with your husband and there's a look in the bathroom of restaurants. They always have like posters of their events coming up. Like it might be like a ladies' night out event. It could be like a wine tasting or something. You might call that restaurant and say, hey, I saw you had a wine tasting. I was in the other night. Could I come in and hand out flowers to all the ladies that come in the door? It could be, think of your town. What is your town's days, right? Like I know Montgomery, where Kate lives, they have Klatchkey days. I have Dozinki days. What was it in Belle Plaine? Summer, I don't even know. Okay, so you know what it is. Everybody's got their days of their town. So that's a great one. Bridal shops. Is there a bridal shop in your town? Okay, you could go into that bridal shop and say, hey, you know, like, do you ever partner with other businesses and do like events? And I've had smaller bridal shops who say, you know, we do these trunk events like a couple of times a year where they have like dresses that were samples that they're trying to move. And yeah, and we let outside vendors come. Great. Do you have a Mary Kay gal? You always want to check and make sure because you don't want to have two Mary Kay people at the same event. It's a really bad idea. Okay. And they shouldn't do that anyway, but maybe they just didn't remember. County fairs. The only thing with county fairs, they can be really good, but it's a time commitment because you have to be there the whole time, which is it's kind of a lot. But if you have a bunch of consultants you can split it with, it's definitely a worthy thing, especially in the Midwest. Now, I do want to show you this. If you have Facebook, another way that I find really great events. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, so this is Facebook. So if you go over to the left here, you can click on events. Okay, and these are just like, maybe I want to, yeah, local events, right? Picnic with Police is coming up. Montgomery, I'll put the top ones up here. So check out New Prague, right? That's my town, right? In Memorial Park, Thursday, August 3rd. Well, that looks kind of boothy. Like I'll just click on it and kind of look at what it might entail. But it's a great way to find events that you could at least call and find out if they take vendors, like Rib Fest at Mystic Lake. I mean, who knows? They might have a little like shopping area vendors, whatever. See, it just takes looking sometimes. Okay, so go on Facebook in your area and see what events there are. And like I said, I'm going to show you in a minute what the heck to do with those things. So cool. Okay, so challenge number 1, if you're playing along, and I know you want to because you're on here on a nice night and it means you want more with your business. Okay, so challenge number 1 is I want you to find 5 to 7 events going on in your area this summer. Okay, and either inquire, like you could call them, you could private message them, but just inquire, you know, if they're looking for vendors or if they, you know, have things, or they don't even have to take vendors. You just know that it's a place where a lot of people are going to be gathered. Okay, because I'm going to give you an idea for that too. So let's just say it's a parade, right? So Dozinki Days has a parade. There's 8,000 people, million, bazillion people gathered. So that's the other thing. So there might be some that allow a booth, and there might be some where you just know a lot of people are going to be in a little tiny area. Okay, so 5 to 7 of those. You probably already know 2 off the top of your head that you frequent yourself. Okay, so results tip number 2, before we dive into the ideas. Results tip number 2, because we're catching. The idea is to do the lead generating events to get the leads you need in to get some new bookings, but then you really want to book from your bookings and do the referral game. So the first little lead idea, and these are 2 lead ideas at your parties. Okay, so let's say you go and do a restaurant event and then you get the leads, you get a few bookings from it. You want to have each person fill out their client profile. These are also on my website, right? So you have their info. And then on the back is this, is our Everyday Heroes thing, which is really our referral game. So I want to, hold on, I'm just going to bring this up. So this has spots for name, phone number, and then adjectives that they can write about their friend. So, you know, during the appointment, I just say, I'm doing this fun thing called Everyday Heroes, and I'm just passionate about pampering women to make a difference in our community. And I just have a quick favor. I want you to write down a couple of people that have made a difference in your life. It could be your aunt, your mom, your teacher, your neighbor, a friend. And I want you to do this thing to make it super special is next to their name and number, I want you to write down a couple adjectives to describe why they're your everyday hero. And the reason I want you to write those down is because I want to make them feel like $1 million, and I want to love on them, affirm them, and give them a gift of pampering and a gift card. They just have to be over 21 years old and have skin. And then I go into what I'm going to say about them. And I do have this script for this on on that website. I will show you where that is very quickly. So again, you can scroll all the way up to the top. So right here is the profile card that I was just talking about. It's right at the top of the website. And it even has the script of what I just said. So if you're like, I can't write fast enough, okay, here's the top, here's the profile card. So it's right there for you. And you guys, okay, I want to pause here for a second. If you find you aren't getting a lot of leads on this, like ever, you know, every now and then I'll have a party where, you know, people don't write down a lot. And a lot of times the reason they aren't is you're talking to your guests. If you talk to your guests while they're doing this, they're not writing referrals, they're talking to you. So if you're someone who can't not talk because you think it's awkward or whatever, go to the bathroom, give them like 3 to 5 minutes while you're in the bathroom. Remove yourself from that situation so that they write things down. And then the other thing is, if you're not sold on it, or if you're like insecure about it or whatever, it's going to come through and it affects your results. So you have to be confident in it. You have to sell people on it. And you guys, here's what I tell people, even if they have no interest in ever doing a Mary Kay pampering session, you are literally going to make their day, because we text them the adjectives like, hey, we met your friend and she said you were kind and humble, and I just want to love on you, and here's the scoop, and do you want, you know, can I text or call you with details? So they're going to feel good. Okay, so idea is get the bookings up, play the referral game at your parties, then you don't have to go out and do lead things as often if you're looking to build your business. And you know what? Some people don't ever do this stuff because they just like selling to their friends and family, and that's great. But I think you're on this Zoom because you want more than that, right? The other tip is I want to talk about bookings from bookings, because again, if you can book parties from your parties, it's going to make your life easier. Now, if you're a seasoned consultant and you're like, oh, I already know all of this. Well, guess what? If you're not getting a lot of bookings from your bookings, you don't. Okay, so you should be getting a lot of bookings from your bookings. So a couple tips I want to give you that might be the reason why. So again, if you go down to the booking game, I have the dialogue in a video on how I play Deal or No Deal. But even more frequent or more important than that is at the beginning of the party, letting them know, like, hey, today is our first date together. Okay, you got to be funny, right? Like, it's our first date, and if you're enjoying our date, you can book a second date. And the reasons why you would want to do that. Okay, did you hear what I just said? The reasons why you'd want to do that. Have you ever said that before at a party? The reasons why you would want to book a second session with me. Number one, because we're having a blast. Number two, you can get free products. But number three, today we're diving into the basics of skincare or the basics of color, whatever you're doing. So if you want to get more intense, like maybe you want to do this like spa night where all of your friends are wearing hydrogel eye patches and we're just like doing all these treatments to make your skin amazing. Or maybe you want to learn once and for all how to shade and contour your eyes with 3 eyeshadows and where the heck you should be putting eyeliner. Maybe you want to learn that winged eyeliner thing. You guys, do you see how I just worded all of that? I want you to remember that, like, if you want people to like follow you, you got to sell them on it. Sometimes I think we just stand at the front of the party and say, yep, tonight's our first date together. You can book a second date with me. It's a lot of fun. You get free product. You have not sold them on the second booking. Okay. Here's why people would want to do that. Go into the reasons. And then I say, and here's the deal. You're going to get free product at that appointment. But if you book today and we can set a super tentative date, I say this right at the beginning of the beauty session, you're going to get this gift from me. And this right here is our Shea hand soap. And I usually decorate it kind of cute with a bow, but you don't have to do that. I give a free Shea hand soap at the appointment if they book a second session with me and give me a date at the appointment for the next thing. They get it that night. And you guys, it's $10. Their cost, $5 our cost. And again, don't just say you get a free hand soap if you book with me tonight. You got to sell the dang hand soap. So I love this hand soap, you guys. And like, so you're going to get this for booking your second session. I swear that it's made out of like unicorn hooves or something, because your hands are actually softer after you wash with it than before it. If you haven't tried the soap, like for reals, you have to, like, my mother-in-law goes gaga over this soap. So sell them on the soap. And then when you're done at the end, and, you know, some of them said deal, it's a great way to, you know, get that date set with them. Like, hey, can we set a date today, even if it's just tentative, so that you get that free hand soap? And the other thing too, you guys, is when people take your soap, okay, I want you to imagine your friend is doing some kind of thing like we do, and she gave you a free soap because you said you would book. It kind of makes you go, I really need to follow through, right? I rarely have people cancel when they book a second session with me. I give them the soap and we set the date, right? Like they almost always follow through on their booking, because it's like trust. Like, I'm trusting you with this free soap. And so that trust was built. So there you go. So bookings from bookings is the easiest way to do this. So if you are a new consultant on here right now and your head is already exploding, I apologize. But the easiest way you can do this is to get some appointments up with friends and family, and then really, 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 really work the bookings from bookings and those referrals. Okay. All right. Results tip number 3. This is for any lead generating event. Now, I don't care which one it is, any lead generating event. You need to call the leads within 24 to 48 hours. You need to contact those leads right away, because the longer it goes, they're going to forget who you are. They're going to forget what they even signed up for. They're not excited about it. You've got to call them right away. Okay, so calling the leads right away. Now, a lot of people say, Emily, do you call or text? I have done every which way. I like to call so they hear my voice, and then leave them a text saying, hey, Jessica, I left you a voicemail. Let me know what you think. I don't say I'm Emily with Mary Kay. I want them to hear my voice and actually listen to my voicemail. But let's say you're so swamped the 2 days after your lead event that there's no way you would get to call each person. Then I would say at least get a text out to them. Okay. It kills me when we do bridal fairs or we do restaurant events and people wait like 5 to 7 days to call their leads. I'm telling you, your results go in half 3 days after the event. Literally just take your results and divide them in 2, and that's what you're going to get. So if you like fishing and not catching, wait longer to call your leads. You don't want to do that. Okay. Do not wait. So a wise thing to do would be, if you know you're doing a lead thing, or there's a festival that you're going to do a thing at, make sure you block off some time the next night, or even that night. If it's, say you do it on a Saturday afternoon, you could call the leads that night. I don't wait. I call them right away. And if you're wondering how to call the leads, okay, my advice is to follow every single step here, go again up here, click on booking. This boss unit booking guide has literally everything you need. Okay. How to get results booking, how to track your bookings, how to make a picture with your dates, how to make a digital business card, what to say when they say X, Y, and Z. There's scripts for new consultants. There's bookings from bookings. This is the big one for leads, booking promotional leads, expos, booths, restaurants. This is pretty much like all the words that I use. You can make them your own, but I wouldn't change them a lot. because again, I've done this over years and this works. But make it sound like you. That's important too. And you know, some people are good with words and some are not. So I like to just give you the words so that you have them. But follow those steps in the booking guide. And I do want to mention, this is also a huge like results piece, is I don't want it to come as a surprise to you. So I'm going to tell you this. You might do like a big event and you reach out the first time and you don't hear anything from a lot of people and you go, oh shoot, I'm so discouraged. Like it got all these leads and nobody booked. Y'all, it's pretty rare they book the first time I contact them. It's usually the second, third, or even fourth time, and that's laid out in that thing. And it's not because they aren't interested. It's just people's lives are so full now that they look at your text or phone call, and then they're like, shoot, I'm at my kid's soccer game. I can't pick up the phone. Then they see your text saying you left them a voicemail. I'll listen to that later. Well, now their husband's bugging them about stuff later at night, and you're having this deep conversation. She forgot about your voicemail or your text or whatever it is you left. And oftentimes it's that second and third time when I'm like, hey, did you get my text the first time? And they go, oh my gosh, I saw it at the ball field, totally didn't reply. So don't be surprised that you need to reach out a lot of times, okay? And you're not bugging people. The only way you're bugging people is if they say no and you continue to reach out, right? If they're like, nope, I'm not interested, and then you keep going. And so sometimes if you really struggle with that piece and you're like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I'm bugging people all the time. I like to think of it this way. If you presented like you were the prosecutor in a jury trial and you were trying to prosecute the fact like this lady is bugging people, would you be able to prove in a court of law without reasonable doubt that you are in fact bugging this woman? Probably not, right? Because she hasn't given you any evidence whatsoever that you're actually bugging her. She just hasn't seen the text. So if it's not provable in a court of law, you're not actually bugging people. That's my opinion. So they can always say no or whatever. And you guys, we can't read minds. We don't know the difference between someone who's just not interested and somebody who's just like so insanely busy they just kind of keep forgetting about it. So yeah. Okay. So now we're going to kind of dive into some of the ideas. Yes, April, I'm going to put this on my YouTube page so you can watch it again. Okay. So here's what I want to tell you. No matter what you're doing, it's always wise to do some type of drawing. Okay, so we'll get to that. That's why we have drawing slips. But there's two main kind of things that I'm going to show you that kind of apply to every lead thing. So for example, I'm about to teach you how to hand out flowers to women. Okay, and you can hand out the flowers to women in a restaurant. And I'll talk about that in a second. You could do it at a booth, right? Like a bridal fair booth or a craft fair booth or a county fair booth. You could hand out roses to women where people are gathered. So think parades, think music festivals, think fireworks, think town festivals. You guys, we have so much of that coming up. It's ridiculous, which is why I always have stuff in my car. Okay. So again, you've got your setup, right? So this works for all of those ideas. I got my bag and everything's in here. I do like to have some candy in here too. In the summertime, I try to stay away from chocolate. Also keep it to adult candy. Like, here's what I mean by that. When you go to a parade with your kids, this is my favorite thing to tell you guys. And the parade's done, and you and your family are walking to go get some food to eat, and you're walking in the street because they have it shut down. Look on the street. Okay, what candy do you see laying on the street that nobody wanted? You see Tootsie Rolls because they're gross. Okay, so you see Tootsie Rolls, you see Smarties. Okay, that is not adult candy. Okay, you want to have candies that like adult women actually think are good. Like I think Werther's are good. I think Twix bars are good. So if you can have chocolate, like chocolate's good. Women like chocolate, but like think nicer, not Tootsie Rolls because they're gross. I mean, does anyone? Okay, of course April loves Tootsie Rolls. I love you, April. But you guys know what I mean. You see all this stuff laying in the street. That's what you want to stay away from. Okay, so so what I like to do, I'm going to show you this here, is I'll have the bag around my arm like this, and I'll have some flowers in my hand, and I will have hold on, some drawing slips like this, and like this. Okay, so I want to show you the right and the wrong way to hand out a flower. Here's the wrong way. Would you like a flower? We're doing this fun thing to honor women today. No, that's the wrong way to do it. Because if you say, would you like a flower? They think that you're selling something, especially if you're holding these like in your hand. This is very suspicious. Okay, so I even like to stick these under my armpit like this. And instead of saying, would you like a flower? I just say, oh my gosh, this is for you. Like I walk up to someone. So again, if I'm at a festival, I've done this where I take a bunch of these and just start walking around and I find groups of ladies and I'm like, hey, oh my gosh, I have flowers for all the ladies today. I'm honoring women today, compliments of Mary Kay. So you guys all get flowers. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's like the nicest thing ever. People go gaga over these flowers. And the cool thing is once you start handing them out, people start asking the other people, where the heck did you get that wooden flower? They'll start finding you, which is kind of fun. So this is for you. Maybe not quite that aggressively, like, oh my gosh, this is for you. Compliments of Mary Kay. We're honoring ladies today. And I'm also doing a drawing just for the ladies I meet today. I'm giving away some charcoal mask treatments and some pampering sessions and gift cards. If you guys would love to sign up for that, I have slips. Now, I want you to imagine there's also a right and a wrong way to hand out a slip. Okay, the wrong way is, would you like to sign up for that? And they're going to say no. Instead, I say, yep, I'm doing a drawing today. You ever do this to someone? You just start handing them a pen and they'll reach their hand out and grab for it. So I just say, oh, and we're doing this drawing today. We're giving away some charcoal mask treatments and pampering sessions and gift cards. If you'd like to sign up, we call you when you win or text you when you win. Of course, everybody wins, but people are always excited to win. Okay. Like I have so many people that are like, I never win anything and they're excited about it. So I don't really care that everybody wins. I want to make everybody's day, not just like two people's day. So, yeah, so I have them fill out a drawing slip and then I put it in my bag. That's it, you guys, that is it. So think of all the parades that you could do this at. You could do this at fireworks. You could do this at your town festival. You could do it anywhere a lot of people are gathered. It doesn't even have to be women because women are bound to be everywhere, right? So this is for you. Compliments of Mary Kay. We're honoring women today. So all the ladies I'm meeting today are getting wooden flowers. You could also do treats too. Oh, and I have some treats for you too. Would you like a Werther's or a York peppermint patty? That's up to you. Just depends on the situation. Okay. The other way that you can do this exact same thing is what we call honoring working women. And this is where you do that exact same thing that I just showed you, but you go into like local businesses. So you walk around like little strip malls or little, you know how there's like those smaller buildings that have like dentist, chiropractor, naturopath, insurance guys, like all in one block building. I'll go in there and I'll walk in and I'll say, I'll see the lady sitting at the desk and I'll say, this is for you. Oh my gosh, we're honoring professional women today. Compliments of Mary Kay. So anyone here gets flowers. And I have a treat for you. Would you prefer Werther's or York peppermint patties? And we're also doing, I'm doing a drawing just for the ladies I meet today. I'm giving away some charcoal mask treatments and pampering sessions and gift cards. Okay. So again, are your wheels turning? Okay. Tell me, hopefully you're not bored. Wheels are turning, right? So, and you guys, it's great while they're filling out the slip, no matter what you're doing, as long as you can hear okay, like make some small talk, like get to know them a little bit, because the more that you can connect with them, you don't want to like give your dissertation or your life story to them, but you want to make a quick connection with them doing this. Okay. And the first couple times you do it, you'll feel really scared. And then people are like, start going gaga over the roses, or just they like, this is so nice. No one's given me anything. And you guys, I've gone into offices like in my town, and like 2 years later, they still have their wooden rose sitting in their pen cup. So you guys, it really does make people feel good. So even if they aren't interested, and you might get people who are like, oh no, thanks, that's not my thing. And I'm like, that's great. You know what? Keep the flower. They don't have to do anything to get the flower. I just want them to have that. It's up to them about the drawing, but I still, hand it to them. Like, and we're also doing a drawing. We're giving away some charcoal mask treatments and gift cards. Okay, so that's the first thing. The other thing that I like to do, okay, so we've got our bag, is, and this might be a new one for some of you. I like to make these little goodie bags, okay, and all that's in the goodie bag, it's just like a tiny little cello bag. You can get the little Ziploc bags at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's that are for beads. Those work too. And then I put a little bit of shred in there. I don't know, a sample. I had charcoal matte samples. I have one tiny Kit Kat in here in my business card. And I like to have these in my purse. But again, okay, when I was in DIQ, no, I was trying to go DIQ. Rewind. I was on tour for my car trying to become a sales director. I remember going to the Eden Prairie fireworks, and I was like, someone told me that this is this huge thing. I mean, I couldn't even believe how many people were there. And I was so glad. I brought a whole bag of these and I brought a stack of these. Okay. So these are called skincare surveys. So again, are you guys sick of looking at the website? Okay. So again, click on networking and lead generating, and they're on here somewhere. Skincare sign. They are on, under booths, skincare survey. Okay. So this is what they look like. Let's zoom in here. Woo! Now we can see. Okay, so this is just a quick skincare survey. Are you currently using a skincare line? Are you happy with the results? What is your skin type? Do you have any skin concerns? Blah, blah, blah. In exchange for a free gift, would you be willing to give your honest opinion of the products? And then you get their name, phone, and city. Okay, so this is an easy thing to have with you in your purse all the time. I want you to think Target. I'm at Target and the lady at the checkout will not stop talking to me. Do you guys have this? I swear every checkout person talks to me. I love it. It doesn't bother me, right? And I'll say, hey, random question, would you be willing to fill out a quick skincare survey in exchange for this fun little goodie bag I have in my purse? And they're like, oh my gosh, yes. So if they, aren't super busy, they'll fill this guy out quick. I walked around the Eden Prairie, circling back to the Eden Prairie fireworks. I walked around the 2 hours. People get their spots and their blankets and whatever 2 hours before fireworks start, because you got to have a good spot, and then we got to wait forever because it's like the 4th of July for it to actually get dark. I walked around and I gave out like 65 of these bags, and I just said that exact thing, like, hey, would you be willing to fill this out, do a quick skincare survey for me in exchange for this fun little goodie bag? And you guys, the first couple times I walked up to groups, if you feel weird, just say that. Okay, so here's what I mean. Like, I'd walk up to people and they'd be looking at me like, what is she going to ask me? And I'll say, oh my gosh, so sorry, this might seem kind of weird, but like, hey, would you be willing to fill out this quick skincare survey in exchange for a fun little goodie bag? It's helping me grow my business. And then they fill it out. You guys, people were like, yeah, I got nothing better to do. And then they got like chocolate and stuff. And while they were filling it out, I was chatting them up. Okay, so again, think fireworks, think you're out and about at places. Mommies, yeah, you're sitting at those ball fields, your soccer fields, your baseball field. This is the perfect idea for that stuff, where you're sitting there and there's a million other moms. Even if you're not a mom, you can just show up at somebody's baseball game. I mean, opportunities are endless, right? All those areas where we're around, but this is a really fun way. And then they put their name and their phone number and their city. And then I called them, would you be willing to get your honest opinion in exchange for the products? Okay, so I just call them and say, hey, I see you circled that you'd be willing to give me your opinion of the products, whatever. Now you could also do a drawing from these. You could say, I'm doing a drawing too for everyone who fills it out today. I'm giving away some charcoal mask treatments and pampering sessions and gift cards. Again, always doing a drawing is results tip foreverness. Okay, people like to win, and it's fun. Okay, so skincare survey idea. Love that. So honestly, if you had this and this ready, you're kind of ready for anything, which is easy and really not too hard. Okay, how are we doing so far? Anybody have any midpoint? Well, we're past midpoint. Okay, I'm going to talk about, that was results tip 4, by the way, how to correctly hand out things. So check, we're catching, right? I want to talk about, I talked about honoring working women, where again, you walk into businesses, you don't have to call ahead of time, you can just do it. So this is great if you work full time and you have a lunch hour. You could go out for like 45 minutes and go get a bunch of leads. If you don't work, I think the best time to go is between, or if you just like, maybe you're a teacher and you're off in the summer, is between like 9 a.m. and noon is a really good time. You can do afternoons, but you can do evenings and weekends too, like at maybe more retail establishments. Like go on your little main street where you have all the little boutique shops. And there's lots of women everywhere, right? As you're meeting people. The other one is, I want to give you the basic gist of how to do a restaurant event. If you want like the full behemoth training on how to do a restaurant event, you guys, all of the lead things, again, on the website, there's a video. It's almost like a master class in a master class. Lead boxes, we'll talk about those in a minute. Restaurant events, how-to sheet, look at that. Wood roses, drawing slips. Here's the whole training video on that, which is cool. Okay, somebody is not muted. Okay, there we go. So again, that's that. Oh, okay. Brianna has a really great question before I teach restaurant events. She finds herself stumbling trying to start a conversation with someone. What's a great first opening line without sounding like I want to sell to you right now? So again, Brianna, and you guys, if you think that I don't feel funky or like nervous sometimes, you're wrong. Like I've been doing this 18 years and I still, like if I'm rusty or I just haven't like been talking to people. So sometimes I just lead with that. Like this is going to sound super crazy or super awkward, but I just, you just seem super nice, or, maybe you were having a quick conversation like, oh my gosh, you've just been so nice. I know it's gonna be super awkward. It might not be your thing, but like, would you be willing to fill out this quick survey for me in exchange for this fun little goodie bag? Or it could just be like sometimes when I'm eating at a restaurant and the waitress was super great, this is how I open with a waitress. I say, you've probably been asked this a million times being a waitress here, but I'm a beauty consultant with Mary Kay. Has anyone ever offered you like a fun pampering session and gift card just because you've been such a great waitress? Like, has anyone done that? And if she's like, no, that sounds amazing, great. Results tip number infinity is if you don't get their information, it's not a lead. Okay, so I don't know how many of you think in the past that you've been lead generating, but all you've been doing is handing out your business card. That's not lead generating. That's throwing bait in the water and expecting the fish to hop in your boat. Okay, it's not a thing. Okay, you have to get their info because they're going to forget about it. They're going to throw your business card away. Handing out business cards is not lead generating. In 18 years, do you want to hear this? I've handed out hundreds, probably thousands of business cards. I've had 2 people call me from a business card. Okay, posting flyers places doesn't work. Okay, you'd have to post so many things, right? So yeah, so Brianna, hopefully that helps. If you ever want to practice over Boxer, like just practice on me. I'll give you tips. Like just think of something and practice it. But you want it to be genuine, you guys. Like give them a compliment or just just say that you're super awkward, because I am sometimes. I can be really awkward. I'm cool with that. But I love talking to people that just seem really nice, or they smile at me, or they, we're talking about our kids. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, restaurant events. So again, it's this, right? But you're doing it at a restaurant. So you do have to call ahead of time and get permission. Again, the script for that is in that packet for the restaurant events. But you basically call the restaurant and say, hey, can I speak with your manager? And then he gets on the phone, or she, and you just say, hey, I'm Emily Schutte. I'm a Mary Kay beauty consultant in the area, and we like to do fun events for women. And one of the things I like to do, or I've done in the past, is I've partnered with different restaurants. I come into your restaurant and I hand out flowers to all the women that come in. They're wooden flowers. They absolutely love it. And then I do a fun drawing for gift cards to the restaurant and to Mary Kay. And it creates a lot of excitement in the restaurant, and women think it's great. Men get jealous. Is that something that we could maybe partner up and do together? Okay. And then you might get a few different responses. You might get, oh my gosh, that sounds great. Give me some more details. You might get, I have to check with my corporate manager, if it's like a chain. Or you might get, sorry, we don't do that here. Okay. Now, if they say, I have to check with my manager, you're not going to wait for them to call you, because you're going to be waiting for a decade. You have to call them back after a couple days. If you feel uncomfortable with that, just say, is it okay if I haven't heard from you in a couple of days if I call you back and just see what they thought? And honestly, I rarely consider that a yes. Okay, you have to call. Again, we're back to success tip number one. This is why it's success tip number one is volume. You might have to call 5 to 10 to 15 restaurants to get one that will say yes. But once you find one that says yes and they love it and the manager loves you and you love them, you can go whenever you want. And it's magical and awesome and fun. And they love it. And you get to know all the waitresses and it's just super cool, you guys. When I was in DIQ 17 years ago, I did a restaurant event every week to get the leads that I needed. Again, that volume. I did a restaurant event and I honored working women weekly, not once a month, not once a quarter, weekly. So depending on what your goals are, you don't have to do that if you're just looking to build some customers. Maybe you do like once a month or once every couple months or whatever as you need to get those bookings. But then, you get smart about bookings and referrals from your bookings, and then you don't have to do it as often. But yeah, and then you go into the restaurant and you can stand by the hostess thing for the most part, and you exactly what I just showed you. This is for you. Compliments of Mary Kay and Green Mill. We're doing a fun promo for the ladies tonight. So everyone gets a wooden rose and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then you hand them, my drawing slips are in there. Again, I keep them in my armpit because if you're standing there like this, you're like the lady at the mall with the clipboard. Everybody runs away. Okay. So don't be the lady at the mall. So I hold it like this. Oh, and we're also doing a drawing. We're giving away some charcoal mask treatments and pampering and gift cards if you'd like to sign up for that. Again, it's the same thing. You're just doing it in a restaurant. Now, contrary to what some of you have been taught or know, I don't just stand by the hostess stand. I go around the restaurant. Like when I get there, like say I get to a restaurant at 5:30 because traffic stinks, right? I just did this recently. Traffic stunk. I wanted to get there by 5. We got there at 5:30 and we went around to the people who were already in the restaurant and we just walked up to their table and I'm like, oh my gosh, sorry to interrupt, but I didn't want you missing out on what we're doing at the door. We have wooden flowers we're giving to all the ladies. Now I want you to imagine that you're at a restaurant and you're already seated and then you look at the door and you see these people doing cool stuff and you're like bombed because you're like, well, what the heck is going on? How come I don't get that? Right? So I like to go around and give everyone, and you get a ton more leads too. And sometimes, even though you want them to fill out the slip right there, sometimes the host is busy and needs to seat the people. I'll say, I'll walk around in another 4 minutes and come get the slip from you. And so then I make sure I'm doing rounds in the restaurant, I'm picking up their slips. Also, tip on that, I like to make the slips a bright neon color for that reason, so that it's not the same color as a napkin. It's like neon orange, neon pink, neon yellow, so I can just like grab their slip and go. Okay. And I just did a restaurant with a consultant this last week and we got 40 leads in an hour and 20 minutes, 40 new leads. And it was fun. And then, seriously, it was a lot of fun. I forgot how fun they were. I was like, oh yeah, these are fun. As far as what restaurants, chain restaurants are typically not going to let you do it, although I have done an Applebee's and a Green Mill before. But like your local sports bars are usually pretty good. Or is anyone mad when they eat tacos? Nope. Mexican restaurants are my favorite because everybody's happy when they're eating Mexican food. They're having margaritas, chips and salsa. Everybody's into it, right? So they're happy, you're happy. So that's a great one. I don't like to go too high end either. You might think, oh, I want customers that, eat at like bajillion-dollar steakhouses. Nah. Sometimes they're too cool for it. You know what I mean? So like you want that happy mix. I've also done coffee shops in the mornings. There's, you guys, endless possibilities of this. So again, if you want all the more nitty gritty on restaurants on the website, but that's the gist of it. The other thing I'll tell you is I think if you're really looking to get stuff moving, do a couple different things. Like maybe do a restaurant event, but then also don't like put all your eggs in one basket because again, volume. You're going to feel better about your results when you have more going on. You're not like putting all your like energy and time into one event because if that one event doesn't pan out, you're going to be really disappointed. Okay, expos and booths. Okay, this is a big one. I get a lot of questions about expos and booths. And again, whoops, I have all the things on how to do a great booth. Bridal booth specifically, but also all of the things, right? How to do a great booth or expo, all the materials. First off, you typically, when you have a booth, you have to have a display. Now, you do not need to go out and buy a bazillion things. You can get tablecloths on Amazon that are cute and they're like $9. And then just pick some products that are cute, right? And they're going to be displayed. right? Just so people can look at them. And then maybe you have like some hand cream or one or two things they could try, like a perfume and a hand cream or something. And then you have a vase filled with these guys because everybody comes up to your booth and is like, oh, I love the flowers, or you can hand these out. And again, you can't just sit behind a booth. No one's going to like fill out your drawing slip. You're not going to get leads. If you're just handing out business cards at a booth, you are not getting leads. You are just giving away things. That's all you're doing. You're just giving away stuff. So as people are walking by, you have to be really proactive. Like, hey, did you get a hand cream sample from me yet? Or, hey, did you get a flower from me yet? I'm giving these to all the ladies today, whatever it is. And then again, I'm doing a drawing. I'm giving away some charcoal mask treatments and pampering sessions and gift cards. I want to be really clear about one thing. We are not allowed to sell inventory at booths. So if you think you're going to set up a table, line up your inventory and sell it, we are not. It's against our beauty consultant agreement to do that. And if another consultant, you might think, oh, nobody will know, but if another beauty consultant not from our unit sees that, they can turn you into Mary Kay Legal and you will get a phone call from them. Okay. And so Mary Kay is really strict on this. So we are not allowed to sell at a booth. So again, you have a display product. And let's just look at that for a second, because I've had people where I've done a booth and like some other company, like for example, 31 Gifts, you know how they sell their bags. They have great bags. I'm not bashing their company at all. They're allowed to sell at those things. And so that's what they have to do. They sit at these like ridiculously boring long craft fairs every weekend to try to make money. But it's a one-time sale, you guys. So yeah, they get money that day. But like what we do, we don't sell to them that day, but we're going to like book them. We're going to meet their friends, their moms, their sisters, their aunts. We're going to build that into a customer that's going to reorder again and again. We're going to meet friends from her friends. We might even add a team member. So even though we get so focused on that instant sale, we want the business over time and to actually establish relationships with our customers. It's also a big no-no. So there you go. Now, let's say some lady comes up to your booth and says, yeah, oh, Jan, great question. She says, well, it's not really a question, but I'm going to address it. I see Mary Kay products all over Amazon. They're on eBay too. I saw ads even though I wasn't looking. So here, Mary Kay aggressively, and trust me when I say this, I am not even exaggerating. They aggressively prosecute people who sell on Amazon and eBay, and they do find them. It's just, there's a lot of them, so it takes time. Most things, like if you do something wrong, they'll tell you, but that is the one time that you don't get a warning, you're just done and they terminate your agreement instantaneously if you are selling on Amazon, eBay, or some other third-party website. Like you don't get a warning, like you're just done. Okay, so don't ever think you can do that because you will get found out and they will terminate you. And you guys, the reason Mary Kay does that, number one, it's some of it's the FTC and just like and FDA, like the product integrity. A lot of the stuff you see on Amazon is actually counterfeit and gross. I have this picture of like an Amazon eye makeup remover and then a real one, and the Amazon one looks rotten. Like it's just, yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to address that. What you can do though, let's say someone comes up to your booth and they're like, hey, do you have products here to sell? You can be like, well, like, what do you need? Do you have first off, do you have a consultant you're working with? No, I had a gal who sold it like 5 years ago, but she's not in it anymore. I could really use the extra Molay night cream. So then what you do is you say, you know what? I don't have products here today to sell to you, but give me your number. I can give you a call and get it to you tomorrow. You can deliver it, you can mail it out, whatever. So technically, like if they don't have a consultant, you can like meet up with them after or whatever, have them fill out your drawing slip, turn it into a booking, and you can sell it to them that way. So I just want to kind of make that clarification. Yeah, and again, you can do this at county fairs, bridal expos, women's expos. And we have a ton of success with this stuff, like doing them. Now, one tip I want to give you about a booth is make sure it's a good booth. Okay, so a lot of people will advertise that they're doing vendors. Ask them questions, good questions, like how much advertising are you doing? And if they're a rookie vendor event organizer, That's sometimes a red flag for me. I want to know that if I'm going to sit there for 3 or 4 hours, they're usually long. I want to make sure that it was advertised, because raise your hand if you've ever sat, I have done this multiple times, sat at a craft fair or some kind of thing, and like 3 people came through all day. I mean, it was the most boring day of your entire life. So make sure that you do a little bit of research. Now, if you get a vendor booth opportunity and you're not sure, and you ask some questions, reach out to me and just run it by me and be like, this is how much it is. This is where it's at. This is the scoop I have. What do you think? And I can give you a good idea of maybe some follow-up questions to ask, or would it be good? Wouldn't it? Is the cost too much? Because you guys, some of this stuff is really expensive. Like I was just talking to a consultant today who has an opportunity to do a $15 vendor booth. Like for $15, you get the table. I'm like, that's perfect, $15. The bridal fairs that we do are like $1,200. 1,200, 1,200, right? Very expensive. So that's why we split it with a bunch of consultants. So yeah, most like craft fair, like smaller booths are $50 or less, which is fine. You're gonna make that back with like one booking, right? Or even just selling one thing. Okay, so that's booths. You can get more info on the booths. The last idea I'm going to talk about is lead boxes. There's a reason I'm keeping this one last. Okay, so I don't have one made because I really don't do that much anymore, but I have in my day. So this is what it looks like. You can get these little gable boxes from Amazon. Okay, so this is what they look like. They come in different colors. They're, let's see, $8 for a pack of 12. Okay, so not expensive. And you can put a sign on the front, and then this is just like a little bag that I cut in half and then taped to the side of the box with, again, this same drawing slips I've been talking about and a pen, and you cut a hole in the top, right? So so here's some different signs. You can make your own sign. Oh, look at that. I gotta update that one. Okay, so like here's a sign you might stick on there, and you can put your info at the bottom. You can make your own whatever. And then here's the deal with these, you guys. You walk around to like coffee shops, dry cleaners, lunch restaurants. Put them in the comments if you've done this before. Oh, a paint your own pottery place. If you've done these before, put in the comments where you've put them. Okay. Nail salons. Oh yeah, nail salons are really good. And you just walk in and I hold it and I just say, hey, I'm doing a fun drawing for ladies in the area. Can I partner with you and just set this here for a couple weeks? That's how simple I keep it. Can I set this here for a couple weeks? If they say no, great. Yeah, consignment shops, public parties, perfect. Yeah, this is all great. Keep them coming. Way to go, ladies. Chiropractors. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So here's the deal though. I have had the least amount of results with facial boxes. Okay, I want that to sink in. In all of the ideas I've ever done, the least amount of results good results I've gotten was from lead boxes. At least in this area. Maybe if you live in another state, some of my girlfriends that live in different states get like mad results from it. Good for them, right? Where I live, it goes okay. I get leads from it, but again, you cannot put out 1. You cannot put out 2. You cannot put out 3. You have to put out a minimum of 10. Here's why. If you set out 10 of them, and honestly, it would probably take you an hour to set out 10 if you just drove and like asked around. Again, keep them in your car. Here's why. Because out of 10, 3 of them are going to get thrown away. Like you're going to show up in 2 weeks to pull the leads from them and they're gone. And nobody seems to have any idea where it went. Yeah. Okay, so 3 are going to get thrown away. 2 of them are going to have, okay, so now we're up to 5. 2 of them are going to have like 1 or 2 leads in them. 1 of them is going to have 0 leads in it. And then the last like 4 are going to have 3 to 6, maybe. A good facial box has like 4 to 6 leads in it. Okay, so if you put out 4, 2 of them are going to get thrown away. 1's going to have 1 lead in it, and this one has no leads in it. And you're going to call me and be like, this is so disappointing. Nothing works. I can't meet the people I need. Volume. Trust me, people, you're all exceptional. You're not the exception. It happens all the time, like all the time. People think they're going to be the exception to that. And I'll just put out a few, no, you 10 minimum. The people who are really successful at this put out like 30 or 40 of them. Because if you think about it, even if 30 of them had 3 leads in them, well, let's say 20 of them even had 3 leads, that's 60 leads, right? Now you're talking. So again, you have to put a lot out, and then you leave them out for a couple weeks. You can go in, you don't necessarily have to pick them up. If they're cool with you leaving it there, you just pull the leads out and then leave it there longer, right? If it's not a place, like let's say you had it out for 2 weeks and it's not a place you got leads, then maybe move it to somewhere else, pick it up and move it. So again, it's a lot more work. Now, just a little like funny tip, make sure you actually make a list of where you put these things, because you will forget. Like you need to have a notebook in your car or on your phone and write, like Ellie's nail salon. I put one on this date, because I swear I think I forgot about one for like 3 or 4 months, and then went back and remembered I'd put it there, and there were a whole bunch of leads in there. It was kind of cool, but like, don't do that. So I've made all the mistakes. So yeah, so those are kind of, well, not kind of, those are the main lead things that I've done. And of course, there's always booths of different kinds of things going on. What questions? I'm going to remove the spotlight. What questions? Go ahead and unmute if you have a question about any one thing that maybe I talked about that you're curious about. Anybody? You're all just stunned. Okay, so put in the comments.
Hey, Emily, will you talk just for a second with the survey? Just talk for a second again about the survey and what do you do like a group of women? Okay, so I just went out to do surveys, and I found that the event that I went to maybe wasn't the best because it was a grand opening for something. So the community people were excited about what was going on and they were engaged with each other. I did get a couple that were not, but they were mostly engaged with each other. And I didn't want to, because they were excited that it was a splash pad opening and they just had vendors, you know what I'm saying? But they were all engaged with each other. So throw that someplace else. Go doing that survey someplace else.
Yeah. So you just want me to say what I would say in that situation?
Yeah. And like, do you do those at fairs like you would do for the roses? Do you do it like places like you would do roses?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
It could be either or of these. Or you could do a flower. I like to do goodie bags for this. These I just like to have in my purse because it's something I always have on me. These I can keep in your car, but like this is nice to just have on me. And sometimes like even at restaurants, I feel like, oh, I'm interrupting their conversation. So I just say, I'm so sorry to interrupt, and that you got to talk fast. Like that's the one thing you need to practice what you're going to say, because especially at a restaurant, they're coming in the door like this. And I think this applies to what you're doing. You can't sit and have a 15-minute conversation with each person. I'm like, this is for you. Compliments of Mary Kay and Green Mill. We're doing this fun thing for ladies tonight. We're giving away some turtle mass treatments and pampering sessions and gift cards. Oh, this is for you. I mean, you got to spit it out, because people aren't going to wait around for you to spit it out. So like, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but you guys are having such a fun time. I'd love to get your opinion. Like I am challenged to have 20 people fill out this quick skincare survey. Would you be game to do that just in case, or in exchange for this quick little goodie bag?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. What other questions do you ladies have? And then I'll share a close of a quick story for you.
So Emily, hi, it's Angel.
Hi, Angel.
I actually made it for the last part of this. When you talk about those roses, like how many would you recommend if you were doing that at a restaurant?
I mean, I would take at least, again, the link is on our website. I said this earlier in the thing. They're
sorry.
yeah, no, that's okay. They come in a box of 800, which is a lot. But they end up, I think they're like 7 or 8 cents a piece. So I just keep the box. A lot of consultants have them and I have them. So if you just want to buy a few, you can buy just a few from one of us who bought a box. too.
Okay.
That's
Thanks.
the question. Yeah. Yeah. So my challenge to you guys is I want you to implement a lead idea. Okay. I know it's going to sound really scary. But I want you to do something. If you're going to do facial boxes and something else, because those take time to work. And the more time you let go by, the less excited you get to do it. So think of something in the next like week or two that maybe it's honoring working women. You could do that tomorrow. You could literally do that like right away. Go get some flowers somewhere. You don't have to wait around for the wooden roses. You can go to Costco and get some. Yeah. So think of what you want to do. Have you actually thought of how many leads you would like to have? That's another question for you, right? Let's say 1 in every 5 to 8 of these kinds of leads book, 1 in 5 to 8. That's probably typical. Do the math and figure, okay, well, if I want to have 6 parties in the month of June, how many leads do I need to get to do that? Yeah, you can get them on Amazon, but I think they're quite a bit more expensive, the wooden roses. So just wanted to address that. I like to keep things like inexpensive too. So yeah, implement your lead idea. And here's what I'll tell you. Okay. You might be scared. I was scared. I'm going to tell you the story the first time I did a lead thing. I almost quit Mary Kay 17 3/4 years ago, meaning I joined in October. I almost quit in January. That quick. Because I only knew 2 people in Minnesota when I joined. I kind of did like parties with people back home, got referrals, didn't want to call them. It was this whole head funk thing I was in. And I will never forget, my director said, you've got to go and get leads. And she kept suggesting all these things, and I was not having it. I just didn't want to do it. And truth be told, I was just scared to do it. Finally, I thought I was going to quit. And then I remember opening my closet and looking at all the cool products we have. And I'm like, I'm not going to quit. I like this product. I just need to figure this out. Right. And sometimes you just might be at that spot where you just need to figure it out. And so I decided, no, we're going to figure this puppy out. So I decided on lead boxes. And I do find that when people are scared, that's the lead event that they are drawn to because it seems the less work. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot more work for less results than just overcoming your fears and doing some of the other things I just showed you. I'm being totally transparent with you. So anyway, I made one. Okay. Nobody had these fun rules for me. Like you need to put out 10. So I'm like, I'm going to put one out. I remember sitting in the parking lot. Every time I drive by the shopping center in Eden Prairie, it's right off 494 and 212. It used to be a Rainbow Foods there. It's now a Byerly's. And the Clothes Mentor, which is a consignment shop in the corner, like where these 2 buildings came together. I sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, willing myself to just go into this shop and ask this woman if I could set it there, and praise the Lord, she said yes, because I think it would have been my like unraveling had she had not said yes. But anyway, I did it. I got 2 leads out of it. I booked one of them. She's still a customer of mine today. Okay. We just did a one-on-one facial because I didn't have the experience. Same thing. My very first restaurant was Green Mill in Eden Prairie. I lived in Eden Prairie. So if you're wondering like what's with Eden Prairie, that's why. And I sat in the parking lot. I had no idea what I was doing. Nobody really showed me. And I just had these flowers and I knew I had to give them away. And so I gave away all these flowers, but I didn't do the drawing thing right. But I got like 4 or 5 leads. Again, I booked one person who led me to some more referrals that led me to some bookings. And I remember being excited about it. I was like, sometimes we get bummed, like, I only got 3, but I was like, I got 3. That's 3 more than I had. Like I was pumped about it. And I knew that I was going to do it more and I was going to get better. After that first time, I was like, oh my gosh, I can think of like 50 things that I would do differently the next time. It's just like doing your Mary Kay appointments. The first time you're rusty, then you kind of pivot and you know the things that you want to do. So lead generating is the exact same thing. And again, earlier, what's the thing you love most in the world? There's something you don't love about it. For me, it's unpacking after a trip. So it doesn't have to be something you love. It's just part of the process, right? I love the rest of Mary Kay. I love like making people feel good. I love doing the appointments. I love making money. I love running a business, all that stuff. So take my challenges and tips to heart and implement something. And if you are like really, really, really scared, go do it with someone. Like pick someone else on a Zoom. Okay, scroll through who's all on here. We've got Trixie, Amanda, Maya, Amber, Linda, Brianna, Misty, Kayla, Michelle, April, Jan, Jessica, Christy, Laura, Deb, Angel, Anna, Tammy, and say, girl, I want to do a lead thing. Like, come with me. And then it's fun, right? Because then you can be scared together and joke about it. So anyway, how to overcome a bad appointment. You just got to have another appointment, right? How do you overcome a bad leader generating event? You got to have another one right after it, because you're going to have, I mean, it's no different than anything else we do, right? Like I've had bad church services. I've had great church services. I've had, there's just goods and bad versions of everything. I'm sure some of you who are teachers, you've had really great students one year and then really bad students the next year. You just have to do it again. Okay. So, you live in Iowa. Great. There's ladies in Iowa. I've been there. Good one. Ladies everywhere. Baby girls are being born every day. So I know sometimes people think, oh, it's too rural. You guys, rural towns have the best festivals because there's nothing else to do, right? So that's what you want to be. The fireworks, the festivals, the parades. And if it's not your town, the very next town over, I guarantee you has stuff. Your town probably has some kind of store of some kind. Maybe it's an auto parts store. Y'all, one of my best facial boxes was in an oil change place. So we don't get to use like our location because one of the top sellers in the entire company is Heather Faring. Okay. If you have a chance to follow her on Facebook, it's I forget how it's spelled. She sells like over 100,000 a year personally. She lives in a town so tiny. I think it's unincorporated in North Dakota. The nearest city is 2 hours from her. And she's one of the top sellers in all of Mary Kay. Okay. So it's just using what you have and these ideas. There are people everywhere. It's just sometimes we're too scared to get out and approach them. The other thing to think about is count the amount of people in your house. Okay. So think of the people in your house. I have 3 other people. One is a girl. She's 7. Okay. So you're not going to find leads I'm not going to find leads in my house because there's only one girl and she's 7. So you must leave your house to find the people. And you guys, you leave your house all the time. I just went to Sam's Club today with my kids, Target. Again, while you're out and about, it doesn't have to be a thing you schedule. It could be a thing you're just always doing as you're out and about. The lady at the gas station's talking to you. The checkout counter person, the librarian, my kids love to go to the library. All these things are opportunities to have some of these things and to just make women feel good and give them something cool, like a wooden rose. People love these things. So anyway, you guys have a great night. It was fun chatting with you about leads. Let me know what you take the challenge. Text me what idea you're going to do. I want to hear what you're going to do. Yeah, honoring working women. I love it. So, all right, guys, have a great night.